Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised I wasn't asked why I'm convinced Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block on a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At Enchain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts, basically ones that can run operating systems. That's all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Satoshi TV, aka Bitcoin SV TV, aka It's Just Bitcoin TV. So let's just jump straight into it. Rock and roll. Here we go. So the reason we broadcast on Twitch live is because YouTube have already taken down 2 of my channels. Then they were preventing me from editing my shows. Then they were deleting episodes. I was just like, you know what? This is absolutely ridiculous. So now we broadcast live on Twitch, upload the full episode onto Streamanity, where you can set your own fee according to how you judge the quality, and then upload the rest of it onto YouTube a week later. So please subscribe and follow me on Streamanity if you'd like to keep up to date with all the latest news, gossip and content as it's created. So let's get straight into it. I found this hilarious. This is really funny. Obviously we have this parody profile here on Bitcoin. It says the Daily Soon. Is Satoshi a Native American? Computer scientists find that Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto's IP address came from an Indian reservation. Stunned by this revelation, thousands of anarcho-capitalists traveled to local casinos in celebration. Playing the slot machines is basically as risky and as an investment in shitcoins, one enthusiastic anarcho-cap told us. I've lost everything, my wife and kids, but they said Max Kaiser was speaking here, so I guess that's good enough. Crowds gathered in ever-increasing lines as people signed in with BTC. What the F is taking so long? I effing sent this transaction like 7 minutes ago, one angry attendee wearing a cream-coloured fedora screamed into the air. A few moments later. Yeah, I do find that funny. I do find this kind of stuff funny. At comedy aside, let's get into it. This has been doing the rounds. Honestly, the number of fake Twitter profiles that have been set up to try and counteract this. Honestly, it's embarrassing. You've got loads of accounts with maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 followers going, oh yeah, oh that's me, I'm closing my Barclays account. Oh yeah, you know, I'm Barclays, I'm leaving them. Oh, Barclays are horrendous. I can't believe Barclays are telling us. Honestly, I've just been blocking all the profiles. It's honestly just a smear campaign. It's hilarious. But let's read what CoinGeek has said about this. An article by Jordan Atkins. So Barclays suspends all payments to Binance following FCA warning. Barclays Bank has suspended all debit and credit card transactions going to Binance, the company has announced. The drastic move comes as a result of the UK's financial regulator, the Financial Conduct Authority, issuing a notice that Binance is not permitted to operate in the country. The British bank notified customers who had made payments to Binance of the move via MSN, according to Business Insider. The message explained to customers that the move was done to keep your money safe. The bank has explained the situation to aggravated Twitter users ever since. In fact, this might have been one that I saw. So Barclays was replying to. Look at the Twitter handle. It's ridiculous. Hi there. Really sorry if you're impacted by this decision. It's our responsibility to help protect your money. With this in mind, we've taken the decision to stop payments made by credit and debit cards to Binance until further notice to help keep your money safe. I mean, absolutely. Binance is an absolute bucket shop. I mean, we've all seen it. Everybody getting wrecked, trades going against each other, Binance shutting down when the market moves against them, so they lose too much money on it. And it's unbelievable. And yet people still want to trade on there. Absolutely insane. It's gambling. That's all it is, really. The offering of securities and derivatives products based on digital assets is prohibited in the UK without FCA authorization, which Binance doesn't have. And yet, as offshore digital asset exchanges, as they typically do, Binance offers its services to customers regardless of whether they are legally permitted to do so. The FCA are far from the first to pick up on this. In 2021 alone, investigations into Binance have been launched by the US Commodities Future Trading Commission, Internal Revenue Service and Department of Justice for, among other things, serving customers in the US without the necessary licenses. The FCA's statements can't be a surprise to Binance. Documents leaked by Reuters in 2020 show a proposed internal strategy for undermining the jurisdiction of US regulators, so the company is fully aware of the laws they should be following. It also won't be a surprise to those who have been paying attention to the regulatory sea change currently taking place within the industry. Regulators are coming down hard on non-compliant companies and their personnel. And Binance has already been identified as the single largest destination for criminal funds. So to see regulatory action ramp up around the world is an obvious step. It will be a surprise to many people who have been taken in by promises that the digital asset industry can operate outside the scope of the law, however. For those people, this is a fantastic illustration of how it is the law which reigns supreme, rather than the many schemes that the companies like Binance put in place to avoid it. Operating in contravention to the legal system isn't just about the risk of being sued, criminally charged, or both, though, as is increasingly being demonstrated, those are the inevitable consequences of non-compliance, and not just for the executives at the top. Law enforcement has shown themselves to be willing to go after the employees carrying out illegal activity on behalf of their employer, and thanks to the US Racketeering, Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, they have the tools to do so. Individuals who are using their company for racketeering activities, which includes the facilitation of money laundering, can be prosecuted under the RICO and can face up to 20 years in prison for each count of racketeering. It's also not just a case of relocating to the least developed jurisdiction, it's that honest companies like Barclays will not engage with non-compliant company. As more and more regulators and law enforcement agencies around the world begin to hold companies like Binance to account, the amount of legitimate entities willing to do business with them shrinks, until the only companies willing to do business with them are the ones who are just as non-compliant. Yeah, it's like anonymous cryptocurrencies. Only criminals are going to use it. You may as well just round them up. It's ridiculous. Regulators around the world appear to be positioning for a big swing at Binance. The real question is which regulators will strike first, who will they target, and how long those involved spend in jail. Wow, yeah, we'll see. We'll see, especially when the DOJ comes knocking. My goodness, you do not want that. No way, no way. But Binance being Binance, absolutely crazy. Utter contempt for the law, but they're going to learn the hard way, which will be the best lesson they ever learned. That's what I think. Let's read this one. Dr. writes, critics are everywhere except court. Brilliant. One of the more frustrating things about Dr. Craig Wright's battle with his critics is that so few of his lawyers end up going to trial or even reach a courtroom at all. This isn't a choice on the part of Dr. Wright, who has been pursuing litigation consistently. Rather, what his critics have in common is that when it comes to putting up or shut up, they universally have chosen the latter. Dr. Wright's desire to take these people to court is perfectly rational. When it comes to challenging allegations of fraud and deceit, the court is the only appropriate way to seek resolution. In its practical or desirable or immediate disputes of this kind over Twitter, where users are under no direct obligation to act honestly and there is no mechanism by which evidence can be produced and examined. In court, the question can be litigated in full light of the available evidence, and parties must swear to the truth of their representations. As a result, the court is the perfect venue for resolving disputes, particularly those involving allegations of fraud or, on the other side of the coin, libel. Why then are all Dr. Wright's critics so keen to avoid it? Good question. Wright versus McCormack. Dr. Wright's lawsuit against BTC blogger Peter McCormack shows exactly why, and that's purely because it's the furthest along. It started with a Twitter campaign in which Peter McCormack called Dr. Wright a fraud and begged for Dr. Wright to sue him for libel. Dr. Wright did sue him for libel. This briefly inspired some financial support for McCormack from Tether until both sides had to present their evidence in the case, at which point Tether decided it wanted no part of McCormack's self-inflicted wounds. They hit the eject button, leaving McCormack with no choice but to abandon his defense entirely, albeit briefly. The case is currently still awaiting resolution, though McCormack's legal team are no longer using truth as the defense to the libel claim against him. McCormack himself has gone almost entirely silent on Dr. Wright since the start of the lawsuit, though he did take the time to confirm that Dr. Wright had indeed submitted a crazy amount of evidence that he is Satoshi Nakamoto in the case. He also recently took to Twitter to make a martyr of himself. Oh yeah, and he goes, this is a tweet by Pete. Oh, and I'm being sued by Craig Wright because I took him to court, not for marketing purposes, because I tried to deflect from Hodl. Yeah, whatever, mate. Just so you know, I'm in debt by $500,000, half a million pounds, to my lawyers, and I've had to sign my house over. Spook F off. Dear, I mean, what an absolute buffoon. An absolute buffoon. Signing over his house. He's in debt to his lawyers. Quote here, he said, being sued by Wright because I took him on is one way to say I begged Wright to sue me, and he did, and now I can't win. Dope. It's somewhat rich of McCormack to try to garner sympathy over a £500,000 legal bill of his own making, while bragging about how rich being a BTC hodler has made him in the next breath. McCormack's also bragged about defrauding his bank of a £74,000 loan, which he took to buy BTC. The bank obviously ended its relationship with him because of this, something which McCormack is struggling to grasp. So another tweet from McCormack said, and for those bitching about me lying about a loan, I have lied to the bank with almost every single question they've asked me since I got involved in Bitcoin. Like, he's admitting he's a fraud. That's outrageous. And he had the audacity to call Craig a liar and a fraud. He is a liar and a fraud. That is absolutely insane. These are the kind of shitcoiners that we're dealing with. Literally, shitcoiners, shit for brains. I have no sympathy for them at all. No time for them, to be honest. Apart from when I'm reading articles, doing my show, because I find them absolutely hilarious. Yes, Peter, that's the problem. So McCormack's case shows why no one wants to meet Wright in court. In a way, McCormack is unlucky. Being based in the UK, it would have been very difficult for him to avoid the inside of a courtroom versus Dr. Wright. However, critics outside of the UK know enough to never let it get that far. To them, anything is preferable to court. The Hodlonaut case against Norwegian Twitter user Magnus Ganath went this route. Despite a targeted Twitter campaign calling Dr. Wright a fraud, Ganath went the extra mile in making sure he never had to stand by those statements in a court of law. He preemptively sued Dr. Wright in his home country of Norway on the hope that EU law would prevent Dr. Wright from launching his libel suit in the UK. This strategy led to a landmark legal decision in favour of Dr. Wright, where the UK Court of Appeal ruled that Dr. Wright's case could proceed in England despite Granarth's attempts at preemption. Though a bold attempt to avoid meeting Dr. Wright in court, it ultimately ended up costing Granarth another £140,000 in Dr. Wright's legal fees so far and counting. So that's about $200,000. I mean, if you've been in core coin since the beginning, really, and you're looking at like £30,000 a coin, you've only got to have a few coins. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. You've only got to have like four BTC. And that's paid off, but so I mean, chances are these guys can afford to pay it, but I mean, who knows? For now, the case is proceeding in England, although one might speculate that the picture will change once Granarth has had a chance to look at the evidence submitted by Dr. Wright, as it did for McCormack. Another outspoken critic of Dr. Wright is Ethereum's Vitalik Buterin, who is on record calling Dr. Wright a fraud and yet will not take the chance to back up his claim in court. Dr. Wright sent a pre-action letter to Buterin asking that he retract his statement and essentially challenging Buterin to meet him in a UK court. Buterin didn't respond, surprise, surprise, likely aware of the difficulties of bringing the Singapore-based Ethereum developer to the UK. Though Buterin won't stand by his accusations in a court of law, he has continued to denigrate Dr. Wright in other forums, including as recently as this month on the Lex Friedman podcast. If Buterin is as committed as he says to exposing people like Dr. Wright, he had and continues to have the perfect opportunity and financial resources to do so, and yet he won't take it. Why? Yeah, good question. Vitalik's a billionaire too, all the money in the world. Roger Ver falls into this category too. Dr. Wright filed a claim against the Bitcoin.com chairman for defamation in the English High Court, but Ver, then resident in Japan, successfully had the case struck down on the grounds that the UK was not the most appropriate jurisdiction for the action. Ver then practically fled to Antigua, but unfortunately for him, Dr. Wright has been a citizen of the country since 2016, making it the perfect jurisdiction for Dr. Wright to pursue his claim. Ver reportedly tried to avoid the service there too, and has once again tried to have the case thrown. First for a lack of jurisdiction in Antigua, which is set to be heard July 19th. Oh, excellent. And again for abuse of process. If Ver could stand by his attacks on Wright, shouldn't Ver be chomping at the bit to see this case go ahead? Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's another one for the diary. Oh, so what are we now? The 6th. So that's the 19th. So just 13 days. 13 days, just under 2 weeks. Woohoo! Get in there. Come on. It isn't just Dr. Wright's libel cases. Either Dr. Wright decided to defend his intellectual property and is currently suing a selection of website operators over their decision to host the Bitcoin white paper. Dr. Wright is arguing that he is the author and therefore the hosting of the document without his permission is unlawful. Despite outrage on the part of the defendants, none have taken up what, according to them, should be the perfect chance to prove Dr. Wright wrong once and for all. Instead, the priority seems to be avoiding the court at all costs. Dr. Wright won his case against Bitcoin.org organizer Cobra this week after Cobra wouldn't show up to defend the case in court. As a result, Bitcoin.org can no longer host the white paper in the UK and its operators left with a sizable legal bill. If the likes of Cobra, Ver, Buterin and McCormack genuinely believe that Dr. Wright is a mere fraud, then the court should be the easiest place to prove it. Not only that, but it would be a surefire way to publicly humiliate him. In fact, to not do so would be doing a disservice to the industry. Yet each one of them, to the person, is doing everything in their power to avoid exactly this. It obviously isn't about the money, though Peter McCormack is so full of hot air, it's difficult to say for him. Ver and Buterin are undoubtedly wealthy enough that the cost of the lawsuit would be a small price to pay for exposing the guy who they say is the industry's biggest fraud, and yet they don't. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hilarious. Hilarious. Good grief. And I've just seen this on Cointelegraph. Let's look at this one. Let's have a look at this one first. So Bitcoin.org owner reports site hit with absolutely massive DOS attack. The attack comes just 1 week after a UK court ordered the website to stop hosting the Bitcoin white paper. A website aiming to support the development of Coolcoin has reportedly been hit with a distributed denial of service attack. Cobra, the pseudonymous owner of Bitcoin.org, reported on Twitter Tuesday that the website was hit with an absolutely massive DOS attack, along with a ransom demand for an undisclosed amount of Coolcoin. At the time of publication, Bitcoin.org is still accessible. Back in the day, you could put up a reasonable fight against most DOS attacks, said Cobra. Now they just down you at will. There is no fight anymore. You will go down and stay down until they leave you alone. So this is the tweet there. Getting hit with an absolutely massive DOS attack and a ransom demand to send Coolcoin or they'll continue. I don't think I've been this offended in a while. Ungrateful scum. Is that not the pot calling the kettle black? While DOS attacks have previously targeted major crypto exchanges, it seems somewhat unusual for attackers to go after a site like Bitcoin.org that holds no information about funds or users, only open source information on the BTC blockchain and the cryptocurrency. The website was the target of a similar DOS attack in December, which resulted in users being unable to access the Bitcoin Core software for a few hours. Last year, major DOS attacks targeted Binance, OKX, and Bitfinex. At the time, a Binance CEO, CZ, claimed the attack on Binance was undertaken by its competitors in an attempt to harm its reputation rather than steal funds. Oh, blah, blah. I can't be bothered. I'm reading the rest of this. Following the court ruling, Bitcoin.org blocked access to download the Bitcoin Core software for any users with a UK-based IP address. The project has also removed any links to the Bitcoin white paper. Good. That's all I can say about that. You know, good grief. Calling these denial of service people scum, and it's just like, well, he's the one that's complaining about infringing copyright just because he's so stupid he hasn't figured out that Craig Wright is actually Satoshi, because he's the only one in the room not talking absolute shit about Bitcoin. So a YouTuber accused of engineering a multi-million-dollar pump and dump via Uniswap. The YouTuber denied accusations. He has rug pulled on his followers while asserting that Million Token is a social project that should not be considered an investment. This is a tech lead. This is hilarious. Has he done a rug pull? This is so funny. No way. I've been following this. An ex-Google tech lead and YouTuber with more than 1.1 million subscribers has been accused of engineering a multi-million-dollar pump and dump scheme. Patrick Hsu, known pseudonymously as Tech Lead on YouTube, launched the Million Token, MM, via an index DEX offering on leading decentralized exchange Uniswap on Thursday. The project's website describes Million as a pre-mine, it's an ERC20 token of some sort, a pre-mine cryptocurrency with a fixed supply of 1 million tokens that are backed by $1 of Circle coin each per token. The website emphasizes that despite only being backed by a $1 million worth of stablecoins, MM has no maximum value. After being priced at $1 on launch, MM saw a mammoth 3,500% increase within just 3 days to hit $36. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think this guy was saying that he has around like 17% of the supply or something like that. Good grief. That is a huge amount. Oh god. The price has since crashed, declining by 58% to sit around $15 at the time. Well, it's still alright, $1. It's a 15x. I mean, this is like, these shitcoiners' dreams, isn't it, really? Oh my god. But again, those who bought at 36, they've lost half the money now. The immediate crash that followed Million prices high has led to accusations that the project is a pump and dump on Twitter. Well, what else do you think it is? It's honestly, the people on these shitcoiners shit for brains. Unbelievable. The user DCF God highlighted the large sums of liquidity that had been pulled from Uniswap by the same address that minted MM tokens. No way. No way. Oh dear. By removing liquidity and not selling, he's effectively selling without selling. This way he doesn't have to tell the community that he sold while they all bought. He just has to hold his initial promise of keeping the 1 million of USDC liquidity, they argued. Oh my goodness me. So he said, okay, last tweet, since I have folks telling me I don't know how a Uniswap works, you can ignore all the liquidity stuff and just compare balances. Tech lead start balance 1 million, 1 million MM. Tech lead current balance 3 million USD and about 113,000 MM. That's hilarious. So he's basically sold 87% of that. Good grief. Good grief. He sold them and made himself $2 million. Oh my god. I mean, as if he's going to get away with it. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. And again, he's ripped all his followers off. You know, those who trusted him and done this. Oh my god. She responded to the thread labeling it absolute FUD. Oh dear. Arguing this is literally how liquidity works in Uniswap. V3 liquidity ranges are created. You literally cannot do any other way. Popular commentator Chainlinkgod.eth 2.0 commented that Tech Lead had completely missed DCF's point, stating, "You created a get-rich-quick scheme so you can dump on your followers." Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. You've added liquidity whether when the price is low and removed it when the price was high and profited the difference in USDC. That's exactly what he's done. Shai published a YouTube video on Tuesday addressing the accusations, denying that he rug pulled investors by removing liquidity. However, the YouTuber also emphasized that MM should not be considered an investment, whatever, describing the project as a social experiment. Oh dear, social experiment, a rug pull social experiment, dear oh dear. So it looks like he's quoted here, "Million tokens should not be considered an investment by any means. This is a social experiment and a really pure speculation. It's kind of a game for us to see what happens with this kind of like Dogecoin." Oh my god. That is absolutely hilarious. Oh, that's gonna have to be my thumbnail. That I've really enjoyed reading that. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. Oh, check this out. So, $55 billion UK hedge fund Marshall Wace plans to move into crypto. Oh dear, another one. Gonna get absolutely shafted. The London-based hedge fund holds over $55 billion in assets under management. Well, I mean, it just goes to show you the potential that the space has got. I mean, can you imagine when they figure out that, BSV is a genuine Bitcoin? UK hedge fund firm Marshall Wace, which holds over $55 billion in assets under management, is planning to invest in the crypto industry per Financial Times. The FT report is that people close to the company have said that London-based group will aim for investments in blockchain technology, digital currency payment systems, and stable coins. Specifically, the firm is launching a portfolio that will buy stakes in digital finance companies that are already in the latter stages of their development. Stablecoin infrastructure is also a particular focus for the firm. Every single dollar that they chuck at these shitcoins is literally going to go to zero. Oh my goodness me. Marsh Wallace's new launch will be led by Amit Rajpal, the hedge fund's chief executive for Asia operations. However, details about the new launch, including the size of the new portfolio, are still unclear. In May, Marshall Wace also took part in a fundraising round for Circle, the USD-based firm behind USD Coin, which generated $440 million. Hedge funds pile into crypto. Marshall Wace joins a long line of hedge funds that have embraced the crypto industry. In December of last year, Skybridge Capital, headed by former White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci, bought $25 million worth of Corecoin. Brevin Howard Asset Management is another hedge fund already involved in crypto. In April of this year, the Jersey-based firm announced it would invest 1.5% of its $5.6 billion hedge fund into crypto. I mean, the whole world's coming in The whole world is coming in. I am telling you. You just have to hold on to your hats, people. Good grief. Their investments form part of a wider movement within the hedge fund industry towards crypto. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers, half of all hedge funds were investing in the crypto industry by May. A month later, a survey conducted by management firm Intertrust Group claimed that the hedge fund planned to invest over 7% of their total holdings in cryptocurrencies over the next 5 years. Whoa. Crypto's growing institutional appeal. Hedge funds aren't the only institutional investors exploring cryptocurrency. Back when Bitcoin led the way in crypto's famed 2017 Christmas bull run, most of the industry's momentum came from retail investors. Yeah, because they're the ones who got burnt. Fast forward to 2020, and institutional investors started taking notice of the industry. In August and September, software firm MicroStrategy announced a combined $425 million investment into Corecoin. The firm's CEO, Michael Saylor, has since become one of Corecoin's loudest advocates. Dear oh dear, he doesn't know that BTC is Corecoin. Oh my goodness me. Since MicroStrategy's investment in other major financial institutions, have come on board the crypto train. They include payment firms like Jack Dorsey's led Square, JP Morgan Chase and Morgan Stanley, to which I have no sympathy whatsoever. Dear oh dear. Shout out to Reform Too Many Coiner in the chat box. Somebody else asking me if I want to become famous by buying followers. If I wanted to be famous, I wouldn't block everybody, would I? Checking audio. Yeah, my audio is fine here. It's all good. It's all good. Let's have a look. There was another article that I saw that I want to have a look at. Oh, has it moved? Come on. It was just down here. All news. Binance, king of Bitcoin, busted for alleged $300 million fraud. Surprise, surprise. Good. What's this? Ex-crypto employers admit stealing $170,000. Yeah, I think I read that one. Okay, let's see what this one's all about. Claudio Oliveira was president of the Bitcoin Banco Group, a Brazilian financial management firm that reported the disappearance of 7,000 BTC in 2019. We'll just follow it on chain. In brief, Claudio Oliveira was arrested in Brazil. Authorities also confiscated cash, cars, and crypto wallets. I can't be bothered to read the rest of this. I've been going for 32 minutes already. So we'll leave it there, peeps. Let's do this favourite part of the day. Handles and paymails in the chat box. Let's do this. I'm just going to open up my Handcash wallet. Here we go. So anybody listening, put your handles and paymails in there. So Reform Too Many Coiner. You have to remind me what yours was. Use it or lose it, I think. Use it. And here we go. Use it or lose it. Seriously? Come on. Sending money. You don't have any friends. Add some friends by tapping on them. Seriously? Send money. Use it or lose it. Seriously, Handcash? Have I got to update this shit again or what? Seriously? Lose it. Use it or lose it. Come on. Use it or lose it. Handcash isn't even allowing me to register that. Seriously? Good God, come on. What the hell? God, it really pisses me off when this happens. Do I have to update it or some shit? God. Oh. Let's see if I can find. It's not even coming up in my contacts. Error loading data. There's a gremlin in Handcache. Seriously? So Handcache is now telling me I don't have any friends. Use it or lose it. Like, oh God, look, this is ridiculous. It's not even registering. God, it pisses me off. I'll have to close the show before I start swearing my head off. Right, yeah, so that's 35 minutes now. Do hope you enjoyed the show. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, joy given. Catch you guys later. Get paid for posting your pics on Relica. Download the app now at www.getrelica.com. Get your tweet etched on Twitch, forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. Buy BSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Support independent content creators on micropayment platforms such as Streamanity, Twitch and Relica. We should profit from our data, not the large corporations who track, monitor and sell it. If you enjoy the Bitcoin content that I produce, please support me by heading over to www.satoshi.tv, where you can keep up to date with all the latest news, gossip and content as it's created. Thanks very much. To get started in Bitcoin, go to freebsv.com, where you can claim your free Bitcoin. Then head over to Twitter and follow @IamSatoshi, where you can take part in his very generous and world famous free giveaways. The future of advertising meets the power of Bitcoin at Tonic Pow. Get paid for posting advertising campaigns to your social media profiles. Go to www.tonicpowads.com.